Generally speaking, of course, for esports, it's a good thing. I feel. On the other hand, for esports, the endemic esports teams, it's definitely a kind of threat. But that's not meant in a bad way. Also, of course, it's a advisor for innovation for esports team. It's also, I think, a big pusher for all of us actually to accelerate our innovation processes, our operational processes, and actually to get more professional more quickly.
Just to add on that, from my view, I think it's really good to further professionalize the scene. Like I would agree with Victor to some extent when it comes to this sort of threat, right? I can imagine that for some teams that are operating in one discipline, which discipline for us is a game, that maybe don't have the funding that a sports team does have, might actually be a threat. It might be hard to compete. But on the other hand, I also believe that due to the added professionalism and to the added infrastructures, it's really good to further professionalize the whole market, right? So especially for the tier 1 disciplines, the one that most of esports fans are watching, like League of Legends, for example, we see more solid infrastructures coming in that support the players, that support revenue streams, that also make non-endemic sponsors aware of the industry and that the industry exists. And I think that's a good thing overall.
It has been one of the biggest decisions that we have made as an esports organization, like the rebranding of the team. I think it has been like a really successful rebranding. Biggest talent is to professionalize the management side, and I think there are teams that are growing like really well in this area. It's really good that a lot of startups and a lot of new tools and are coming to the market and are helping like the teams to target more the audience and to understand more what they want, how do they want to interact with the brand, what kind of content would they like to have, these kind of things, and this kind of dialogue between the brand and the audience. I think it's very useful, and well, I think it's what more helps to this continuity.
Liga is a joint project by the top Polish esports teams. I mean, first of all, the specific of the projects, right? So the esports teams coming together and saying, look, we have to do something together. We have to take our fate a bit more into our own hands, and we have to simply also make more money. Any income, any profit made by this league is split equally between its participants, right? Between the teams. We need the other teams in the scene as well to make enough money, be able to purchase players, to be able to pay players on regular basis, be able to invest into content, into professional management, into all operations which are just necessary to run a successful team. It's also building kind of USP, a unique selling points for teams. Again, if we need to get capital a bit quicker, there is no other way than, of course, acquire better sponsorship, build fan bases, monetize through merchandise and stuff. But it's unavoidable that there needs to be an investor capital into the teams. So we need to create alternatives to make it easier for these people, business angels mainly, VCs, to trust esports more and to see the potential of income within our industry.
So we're an American company, but our teams are basically from all over the world, right? Our League of Legends team we have 4 Danish players playing in the EU LCS. Of course, most of our fan base, even though we are an American company, is from Denmark. Our Call of Duty team is from the UK, so we have a lot of fans from the UK, obviously. Then we have a Counter-Strike team that is filled with American players. So for us, doesn't really matter too much. I think at the end of the day, it's the leagues that are going to dictate the terms. They might decide, okay, we want to look at a more local approach, or we want to look at a more global approach, or maybe there's a mixture of both. For us, it doesn't really matter too much.
As also Kavi said, the industry is so young. I mean, we have yet to see so many incoming things. Let's keep in mind that there is a big power from the publisher's point of view, which they simply own the esports as we know it today, right? This is something we haven't seen in soccer, so it had the chance to have a more natural evolution.
Of course, and the other point is sponsors, partners, investors. They want to get leads, they want to make sales, they have maybe new products coming up. And so I think for esports teams to survive and to develop in the next 5 years, it's really important to find an approach and find a strategy to say, okay, we are from Germany, we focus on Germany, but we want to be successful in Europe. Or if we check out the Nordic area, you see that all in all Sweden was faster than everybody in Europe. And in my opinion, came up Poland. Now we have also Germany with Cologne, with also Hamburg. Really cool events, but I think it's just a small beginning of a long journey, and I think it's in the end really interesting which strategy you choose, because I think in the end you cannot have everything.
When I think about Germany and esports rising, we have so many prejudice here. People not really accepting the esport community and esports in general. Do you think we need to advocate that or kind of speed the process up and everybody on board? Also here in Germany, maybe the government. Is it relevant, or is it just sit it out and wait?
I think we definitely have to advocate it, and we have to educate as well what esports means. There's a real structure behind it, that we work with sports psychologists, we work with physiotherapists, we have a very strict diet plan for the players, we take care of them in a way you would usually see from traditional sports clubs.
There's a really interesting example if you watch it soccer, Red Bull Leipzig versus Bayern München. How many violence we have there? Aggression, problems, conflict. How many police officers we need to maintain and to secure such a soccer game? Now let's watch back. Here's the one Cologne. How many securities officers we had there? How many conflict? How many drunken people? Aggression or any other things, bad news? Not much. And that's also the way we have to go now the next 2 years. So we need to be open.
In the end, also what we care about in esports is that we secure for esports athletes similar rights to sports athletes. It's about practical issues, right? I mean, how do you submit your tax returns to the tax authorities claiming your winnings from ESL Cologne, right? Are you supposed to tax them double times as you would tax your in a normal income, or simply should it be taxed once? And these are the practical issues behind. So yes, education is needed. On the other hand, there is also the discussion esports going into Olympics and stuff, and whether that's necessary, not necessary from this point of view. I think from the esports community point of view, this is not a relevant conversation at all.
So we're all aware that player salaries increase and grow. Do you think it's inflated and a bubble by the influx of cash to investment, or do you think it's justified?
It increases with the value of players, right? So when you look at traditional sports and top disciplines, you look at the development of player salaries in football, for example. We are not there yet, right? But I'm pretty sure it will continue to increase over time. I think the only thing we need to be a bit careful about is when you have teams coming in that really they just want a player, or they want a few players and they will just throw money at them no matter what. But those will be exceptions, because at the end of the day, this is not a stable business model.
Well, I think there are too many conversations about salaries, and I think too many. But I think we should also talk about the stability. It's like players are really young. As you were saying, it's like there is an uncertain future, and we don't know many things how they're gonna evolve. And I think of course salaries has to increase as long as the industry is growing. But we should also include in this kind of conversations like as I was saying, like stability, because right now it's like it's not the same in the startups world. We call something like a smart money, and it's like it's not the same like money than smart money. And now there are like smart organizations that can offer money, and this will mean also stability in the future for these players. But there will be like some others that will just like bring with a lot of money, maybe from investment, from whatever, but there's not a future plan. So it's something that in that we were telling about education on the industry, I think it's something that we should all work on, how the stability of these organizations is gonna be. So it's like they can have a safer future for themselves, and the organization is gonna be like they're gonna be able to control better how the increases and how the evolution of the sector is gonna be.